What's happening, guys? It's Jeremy Blanton with RE/MAX Southern Shores, and today we're going to discuss something that I think is coming down the road. I have a feeling that a condo crisis might be coming to the Myrtle Beach area. I have a feeling that it might become almost impossible here to afford buying a condo in the Myrtle Beach area. Well, why is that? We're going to discuss 5 reasons why I think that might happen. So let's jump into this. So the first reason why I think it might not be affordable to buy a condo in Myrtle Beach is demand is just so high. People are moving to the Myrtle Beach area every single day. We are constantly in the list of top destinations that people want to move. Well, people that are moving from the Northeast may be saying, I don't want to deal with yard work anymore. I don't want to have to take care of the exterior maintenance of a home. So instead, they're looking at buying a condominium. So what does that mean? That means demand is really high. Now, on the other side of this, ever since the pandemic hit, supply in our area has been extremely low. I checked today as I was pulling statistics to shoot this video, and well, right now as of today, we're at about a 4-month supply of inventory. What does that mean? Well, according to Lawrence Yun, who is the chief economist for the National Association of Realtors, this guy knows what he's talking about. Anything less than a 6-month supply of inventory means we are in a seller's market. So yes, sellers still have the upper hand. What does that mean? Those of you that are looking for tons of options to pick from, you're not going to have those right now. You're going to have to basically be happy seeing 1, maybe 2 options that are there for you and picking the best of them. Until that inventory starts to go up, which, well, it's probably not going to happen. And I shared about that last week and the week before about how inventory is going to probably drop here in the next few months because interest rates are coming back down. And so as interest rates go down, inventory is going to go down too, making it much more difficult for you to buy. So the demand, it's remaining real high right now, making it even more difficult for those of you thinking about buying a condo here at the beach. So what is the second thing that's going to cause a problem here? That's more than likely going to be pricing in our area. You know, I'm a little bit of a numbers geek when you think about it, and I love to study statistics and look at things. And one of the things I looked at today was the average price of properties. And I went and looked at the median sold price over the last several years. Back in 2020, before the pandemic, the median sales price in our area for a condominium was right around $140,000. That number nowadays has jumped over $100,000 to $247,500. What does that mean? That means that property values have gone way, way up. Because you have to take into consideration, this is taking the median of everything that's out there. So that means everything from the small efficiency condos that are 45 minutes from the beach that are selling for $50,000 to $75,000 to the gorgeous luxury 5-bedroom oceanfront condos that are selling well into the 7-figure numbers. But when you take all of that stuff and average it out or find the median of it, it has gone up over $100,000 in just over 3 years. That means that prices have gone up. So I went and I started to look then at one of the normal condo complexes that I sell here in the area. So back in 2021, I had a client that came to me and wanted to buy a property in Dunes Village. We bought a gorgeous 2-bedroom unit in this complex that sat up on about the 8th floor and it faced south. You could see from this condo miles and miles down. It sits at 52nd Avenue in Myrtle Beach. We could see all the way down, way past the Skywheel, way down past the 2nd Avenue Pier and on for miles after. So it had a gorgeous, one of the top views I've probably ever seen in a condo complex. They bought this 2-bedroom unit for $300,000. I looked just today. 2-bedroom units that are somewhat similar to the view of what we had right now are selling for $450,000 to $500,000 in this complex. That means in just a matter of 3 years' time, values have gone up easily $100,000 to $200,000 in price. So affordability of them due to pricing is definitely becoming more and more an issue. The third reason that it's becoming more and more impossible to buy a condo these days is the insurance costs. Insurance in the last 2-3 years has just gone absolutely berserk all across the country. I know on my primary residence, the price of the insurance went up close to $1,000 this past year. That is just insane in a 12-month period. But you have to take into consideration when you have these oceanfront condos, they have to have much higher levels of insurance than me that's several miles back from the ocean in case of a natural disaster. So what they have seen is their rates and values have gone up exponentially. Well, what does that do? That also then affects your homeowners association fees. And so people are seeing these rates go up all because of insurance on the most part. So what causes your insurance to go up? I'm glad you asked. Let me share a few of those with you. So the three main causes of insurance hike have been the increased frequency and natural disasters. We've had huge hurricanes, disasters that have taken place, wildfires and things. And so when these wildfires and hurricanes and disasters take place across the country, it affects the overall price of everywhere's insurance. In addition, the price to repair and rebuild things has also gone up. You know, we've had inflation take place in the last year, and with the labor and also materials and things that used to cost $1,000 are now costing $3 to $4. So when those values go up and costs go up, they also have to raise it. And then the third reason why insurance costs are going up is the values of properties have gone up, as I just mentioned a few minutes ago. Remember I said the property was bought for $300 is now $450? When property values go up $150,000, they also have to increase the insurance that takes place to make things even more expensive and rise those prices even more. So insurance is a definite huge factor in why condos are becoming more and more impossible to afford. Number 4 is HOA costs. As I mentioned a couple minutes ago, everything has become more expensive. Fuel, product, materials, labor, whatever it may be, is costing more these days than it ever used to be. So a condo complex that might have had a budget of $200,000 last year for cutting the yard and taking care of all the grass in the facility, now that budget might be $300,000. Well, if it goes up that much, they have to somehow cover that additional expense. So what do? If it goes up $100,000 and they have 100 units, everybody's getting $1,000 special assessment or an increase of $1,000 over the next year to your HOA fees. So when these types of things take place, fees that used to be manageable and affordable are now getting ridiculous. I mentioned a little while ago about Dunes Village. While I was pulling up home values, I decided to also pull up the history of the HOA fees from the last few years. And so I'm gonna read these to you, it's kind of interesting. Back in 2015, that 2-bedroom condo HOA fee was $1,003 a month. In 2017, that number jumped to $1,040 a month. Then in 2021, it went to $1,093 a month. Okay, so you can see it's just going up 40, 50 bucks every couple of years. Not a big deal, you would think. Well, just wait. Then from 2021 to 2023, it went up to $1,228 a month. So that was a huge jump. And then in 2024, they just changed it again. It's now $1,326 a month. So when you take that over a year and you figure out the increase, that increase from 2015 till today is an additional $3,800 each and every year. So when you have those additional expenses that are taking place, it becomes much more difficult sometimes in order to afford that condo. So HOA fees are another huge reason why things are taking place. And trust me when I say, people are not happy with the HOAs. In fact, check out this video clip from down in Florida.
They call the cops.
A homeowners association meeting at the Mandarin Lakes neighborhood in Naranja Lakes goes off the rails. The Tuesday night meeting was cut short after residents say the cops were called by the HOA.
Yeah, the police had to come to the HOA meeting because people were getting up in arms because their fees were going up. I totally get it, but it's one of the things that I always share as a concern when someone's thinking about buying a condominium, especially if they're very tight on their budget at the time. I try to caution them that this might not be the best option for you, and we need to maybe go back, reconsider something else. Because if there becomes a special assessment, like down at Myrtle Beach Resort, they have a beautiful oceanfront tower called the Renaissance Tower. Well, back in 2023, at one point, they literally walked in the door on like a Saturday or Sunday and told everyone, get out and get out now, because the building was structurally unsafe. They shut the building down. Someone who had an investment property that was counting on rental income to come in over the next few months to cover the expenses, they were in big trouble. In addition, the building had to spend millions of dollars to do the repairs to make the building safe again. So when these things take place, if you're on that tight budget, you're definitely in trouble. And the fifth and final reason why buying a condo might not be an affordable thing you can do anymore in Myrtle Beach is the economic factors that are out there. As I mentioned, cost of everything, cost of living, cost of just anything you can think of is much higher these days. In addition to that, if you're doing financing, interest rates have come into play definitely over the last few years. You know, back in 2021, 22, when interest rates were 2 to 3%, it wasn't that big deal to take a mortgage, and it wasn't that big of an additional amount of money to your payment. But as I mentioned in a few previous videos, interest rates have gone up. In 2023, they got up as high as 8%. Right now, as of today, shooting this video, they're right around the 6.5% rate, which isn't terrible in the historical of mortgages. It's really not that bad, but in comparison to what we had for several years, it definitely is going to make a difference to your financial piece. So if you're thinking about buying that place, you definitely have to take that into consideration too. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video on buying a condo, and is it something you can actually afford to do anymore in the Myrtle Beach area? If you have questions about it, my contact information is down below. Feel free to shoot me an email, or you can book a 30-minute call with me at jeremyblanton.com. I'd love to talk with you. And as always, if you enjoyed today's video, do me a favor, give it a thumbs up, get the bell on, and I'll catch you in the next one. See you.